guys, this is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. We are recording this on Saturday before Easter and before my son's 19th birthday, and this will come out on a Tuesday, just a couple of days later. And we celebrated Easter a day early in order to make sure that my son's birthday did not get completely lost in sheltering in place and in Easter. I think it's going to be a little bit of a dud. What do you think, Ray?
Yeah, it's just interesting this year and just this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, we have some presents and we have some surprises, but it's not much fun when you're 19 and you can't celebrate with your friends. So we did an Easter egg hunt today because I made the kids dye Easter eggs last night. And just because you're 15 and 19 doesn't mean that you can't continue to have the Easter fun. We're not religious, so we celebrate the Easter bunny, we celebrate the Easter eggs, we celebrate the Easter baskets and candy. And we have a fun little thing that you, me, and Sophie are going to do, because I'm going to get one of those paint kit type things from Bodega and Bottles, a local wine paint place that is offering kits to do at home. So me, Sophie, Ray, the three of us are going to do, and Adam and Zeke are going to watch us. But that was one of their Easter gifts, along with some candy and some random ass shit.
Yeah.
Because when
like
you're
candles. I like candles.
Well, when you're ordering from Target and when you're ordering, I did pick up a little something for the kids from Pomegranate Seeds, but when you can't go out and go shopping, it makes it kind of challenging, and I'm not a big online shopper. But what the segue into today's topic is around tradition anchors and the emotional burden. And I, as someone who cares about the mental stability of the people in my household, I, as the one who care about traditions and making sure that making sure that we're all healthy and well, and also that we're contributing in a positive way to those in our community and in our family and our friend group, I tend to carry the majority of the emotional burden or the emotional load. It's just stuff that my husband just doesn't even think about, doesn't even care about, but is important to the fabric of our society. And when I hit the wall a week and a half ago, by the time that this comes out, have been 2 weeks ago, I realized that that does require a significant amount of energy, and I was not acknowledging that as part of my workload. And I think a lot of people in our society just expect women to be the ones to do it, because if we don't do it, who will? This is generally not something that men have cared about traditionally. I hope if you are a man who cares about the stuff and you're the one who does this within your family or your social unit, thank you for doing that. I just know that that's not something that's traditionally been part of what's expected of men. I'm horrified to think that my son is continuing with that tradition, which I don't think is a good tradition. My hope is that by poking and prodding him to remind him to do good things for other people, to remember other people's special occasions, that perhaps he will learn to carry that emotional load, even though it hasn't been modeled in our household that that's something that's a traditionally male responsibility. Because you know what? It's a lot of work. And I'm sure that there are some people that say, well, why do it? You know? And the thing is that I think it's important. I think it is important for, as I said, the social fabric of our community, of our society, to acknowledge when good things are happening for others, when bad things are happening for others, and to reach out and let people know that you're thinking about them. I am making sure to reach out to people who are struggling right now, maybe with depression. It's hard right now, and there are people who are living alone and carrying the load within their own household, and it's hard work. And I think we're going to lose people in our society if we're not reaching out and paying attention. And so I'm doing that, and it's important to me, and it should be important to others within my household. but it's not. And I don't resent or regret having to do it. I would like to see more men carrying this kind of burden. I'm encouraged because there are two guys who work for a former CIO that I used to work with. And the CIO has retired, has moved away, and is in a little bit of a tough spot. And I reached out to him about every 2 weeks over the last couple months and realized that he needs more than that. So I reached out to two guys who used to work for him, and I said, okay, who has Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? Because I've got Thursday or Friday. And I'm making sure that we're reaching out to our friend on a regular basis to let him know that even though he may be sheltering in place, he may have retired to a different place, it doesn't mean that he isn't in our thoughts and in our hearts. And fortunately, the two guys are truly delightful and willingly signed up for it. And I wish I didn't have to be the one to prod this along, but the fact that they're willing to do it, I think, is very encouraging, and I'm okay spearheading this little endeavor. So, Ray, are you checking in with anybody who's having a rough time?
Yeah, a couple of my friends aren't doing, I don't want to say as well as I am, but as well as I am.
Well, you're thriving, so, you know.
I'm honestly thriving. And so I'm checking in, I'm being like, yo, what's up? How's it going? You good, broski? You know, all that jazz.
Yeah, and I think this is an important thing within our community, and it's something that we should all be sharing the load on. I know that sometimes it's easier to focus on ourselves. I think my husband struggles with this largely because he's an only child, and he's also a man and has been raised in our society, and this is not something that was really modeled for him necessarily. And I think looking outside of himself is sometimes difficult. And since I was raised to be the hostess with the mostest who cares and da-da-da-da-da, it's something that comes very easily to me. But I think right now, especially if you can take the time to reach out to somebody who you haven't heard from in a while, and, you know, especially the strong people in your circle, I don't see very many people reaching out to me asking, hey, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? And I think the strong people in our community need just as much attention as those who may really be struggling, which is why I check in with you, Ray. I know you're doing great. I know it probably drives you nuts, but I still want to check in and make sure you're doing okay. Mm-hmm. It might bug you.
It might.
It does bug you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing is that if I didn't, first of all, I'd be remiss as a parent in checking in on you, number one. And number two, there might come a time where you're not doing great and you might be putting off all the vibes that you are, and you might be like, yeah, I need a little extra help. And so then at least, you know, you feel loved and cared for. That's what Ray is doing to me. So I'm going to try to keep this one pretty short. So at this time, I think making a little extra effort to put out into the world some goodness and check in on people and share the emotional load, I think, is incredibly important. It might be taking advantage of snail mail and dropping a card or a postcard in the mail to somebody, because imagine the delight. I know some people are like quarantining their mail and waiting a couple of days. We're not really doing that, but getting something that's just like, hey, I'm thinking about you, just want to let you know that you're loved. I think that can go a long way right now when there's a lot of pressure and anxiety and stress going on in the world. We also have the opportunity through various video chat functions so that we can see each other and be like 2 feet away from each other on screen, even though we can't be 2 feet away from each other out in the real world. I actually got out for a walk with my husband today, first time in 4 weeks. And we just walked over, dropped a book off at a friend's house, and then walked back and met some people I'd never met before. They were sitting outside enjoying some gin and tonics, and I thought they were drinking Bloody Marys. And they had beautiful roses in the garden. This might be an insanely good year for roses based on what I'm seeing here in the Bay Area in Redwood City. And we just chatted, we just connected, and I might actually be meeting neighbors that I've never met before. Maybe they're sitting out front, and usually they're inside their houses. So I'm trying to find different ways to connect with people, and maybe people I've not connected with before, but my brave thing today was actually going out for a walk, because I've been afraid of connecting with people because it feels very awkward and uncomfortable to do it from 12 or 20 feet away. I don't like that. But in talking to my friend David yesterday, I'm very comfortable with it being 2 feet away on my laptop over some sort of a video conference. I don't know if that seems weird, but...
No, it makes sense because it feels like they're really close.
Yeah.
Even if they're not. And you have something to direct your attention at that's really close, so it's like they're there in person.
It feels more intimate, whereas to me, the gap of 12 to 20 feet, because a 6-foot thing I think is bullshit. So a gap of like 12 to 20 feet, it just feels awkward. Maybe I need to get better at it. I did talk to my neighbors, Jenny and Eric from across the street. Maybe I just need to get more comfortable with that. But I think that's been one of the things that's been holding me back from going out for a walk, is I don't want to have conversations from 20 feet away. I don't want to deal with people who don't want to walk off the sidewalk and make way, you know, having it be a little bit of a pissing contest as to who owns the sidewalk and who doesn't. So I think I was avoiding a little bit of that conflict, but Violet needed a little bit of a walk. The sun came out after our Easter egg hunt, and so it was good to get out there and break that little barrier. So will I go out?
Say break some eggs. And just like...
No, we already did that with the with the egg dyeing and the egg hunting.
I've eaten like 3 eggs today.
Oh my god, your eggs were so good. So good.
We steamed them instead of boiled them. So thanks to Alton Brown, because I'm a big fan of his, and he said to steam them, so we did.
No, that was a great thing.
Yeah.
So so to kind of round all of this up, it's just like I'm trying to find ways. Yes, I'm carrying the emotional burden, but it's important for the fabric of our society. It's important to me to maintain traditions, even though it may be difficult. So we did the Easter baskets, we did an Easter egg hunt. It's just a day early. And, finding those anchors that make it so when everything is chaotic and everything is super, super uncomfortable, that we can still find some comfort in some of the traditions and anchors and the friends who express love, and that we can then also express love too. So I think that's just about it. This is coming out after Easter, so I hope you had a good Easter, however you celebrate it. I hope you are maintaining your sanity. By the time this comes out, we will have been sheltering in place for 4 weeks. And I'm anticipating that this is going to go through the end of May, at least here in California, or in Northern California, which is a little overwhelming, but we will figure this out because we have to. And if you are sheltering in place in other parts of the world, I hope you are staying safe and healthy and sane, and finding ways to anchor and finding the goodness in what's going on in the world. Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
wash your hands.
Well, so thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Go ahead and hit that little bell so you can get notified when new videos come out every Tuesday and Saturday. And take some risks. Let go of perfection. We don't do that on purpose. And above all else, have some fun.
And wash your hands, and don't forget to give your friends and loved ones lots of virtual hugs and kisses.
Yeah, exactly. Put some love out into the world, even though it might be a little bit tough.